He just revealed a lot by saying this as Patrik Allvin spoke in a recent interview revealing a lot about the Vancouver Canucks, speaking on star forward Elias Pettersson and star goaltender Thatcher Demko, but also going as far as saying the team is still engaging in trade talks as they continuously look to fill out key positions. We're going to break down all these quotes from Patrik Allvin, how the Canucks are still looking to make a trade, and so much more later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 57.8% watching this and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to go down and hit it. It's completely free, and in return, we'll give you daily updates from all around the Vancouver Canucks. I just want to give a little shout out to everyone watching this and for continuously supporting the videos. But with that, let's just go straight into today. We're in a recent interview. Patrik Allvin spoke to the media today, revealing a lot about the Vancouver Canucks. Now we'll get into the quotes on the trades, but before we get into that, Patrik Allvin spoke on the pressure. There is pressure. I just feel for my players too, that I want to provide them, and especially the players who have been here for several years. I want to provide the best roster I can for the players who have a chance to win and for the fans. Now we continued in talking about how grateful it was to be a part of this Canucks team and with the fan base, but Patrik Allvin is starting to feel the pressure. This is the Canucks team that looked very good just 2 seasons ago when the Canucks went in versus the Edmonton Oilers in the second round last year, failing to make in the playoffs. And going into this third year, it's going to be a bit of a pressure cooker for this Canucks team as they look to get back into contention. Now he continues on. I definitely believe with Demko, Quinn, Elias, and Brock Besser, there's a lot of talented players, and I need to build out that roster. I wouldn't say urgency, but as a general manager, the pressure comes to me because what you realize in the NHL is the years are just flying by. Now with this, it does seem like he knows he has his core players. He listed all below. But with the Canucks, they need to add in star talent around this if they want to get deep in the playoffs, make the playoffs, and go on a deep run to eventually hoist the cup in Vancouver for a city that truly does deserve it. Now, looking at the roster, he has done a good job bringing in some talents. Evander Kane coming in this year, Filipino set to take the second line center spot. There's a lot of guys on this lineup that he did add, but looking at this offseason alone, just adding Evander Kane and not a center, which again, we will touch on soon, seems like a lot of fans are hoping Allvin has something else up his sleeves, as he knows it is a bit of a timer on how long he will be with this organization if he cannot continue to compete with this roster and build a better roster around him. Now with this Canucks team, this is one of the best defensive cores we've seen with the team in quite some time, with bounce back seasons from Thatcher, Demko, Elias, Pettersson, even a healthy season with Filipino. This team is going to continuously get better, but he continues on speaking with trades. He goes, we continue to talk to teams, but there hasn't been a whole lot available here leading up to this point. Obviously, it comes down to the cost of it, and you know where it fits in Adam Foote and his style to know what he wants to play. Definitely something we continue to look at. So with this Canucks team, it seems like a trade is going to happen at some point. They need to fill off a couple boxes. They need to find a guy that fits Adam Foote's style, a guy that's not going to cost an arm and a leg, and someone that fits within this organization on the second line center spot. Now, moving out a key part of this lineup is going to hurt. If they can bring in a second line center, maybe you move on from someone like Filipino or someone else, Teddy Bluger, Niels Höglander, one of these players. But I do believe Adam Foote has a style that he wants to test with this roster, and we're going to see Patrik Allvin continuously try to add talent to it. Listen, we know a lot of coaches. We've seen it with Rick Tocchet. Kuzmenko didn't fit his season. The Canucks moved on from him. Mikheyev, who was a bit of a black hole on offense sometimes, once again moved on. Coaches have styles. Coaches have styles of play they want to do. If the player doesn't fit, they're going to look to replace them with someone that can. So it does get interesting that Patrik Allvin and Jim Rutherford are continuously still looking to fill this out. Now he continues on, and listen, there's about 3 more of these. He said, you're right. The more depth you have at center, probably the stronger you are as a team. It's an area where you identified that if you're going to make a trade, our preference to strengths of the lineup is a center iceman. But Ratu, is 22 years old. Ty Mueller was a horse in Absurd at the end. and we have Max Sasson. So it seems like Patrik Allvin is not going to go out and just make a trade of the sake of a trade. He knows he has some depth at this position. Yes, it once again might not be the strongest depth, but you have a very young Ratu that is poised to break in and probably have the biggest breakout for the Canucks this year. Last year, putting up 11 points in 33 games, only playing 10.5 minutes while being incredible on the faceoff dot. Finishing the year with 57.7% is incredible for someone at the age of 22. We can see the years previous, 62, 52, 54. Ratu is known for his center ice play as a centerman, winning face-off draws. So now when going back to this, yes, you can bring up someone like Max Sasson, you can bring up Ty Mueller, but the big thing is this doesn't move the needle on a second-line center the Canucks are going to continuously have to hunt for. But as Patrik Allvin said, they're going to continue looking at options. They still have been looking at options, but at the moment they do have guys that are workhorses ready to make the jump or going into the season looking at a breakout. Now he continues on to speak about Thatcher, Demko, and Elias Pettersson. If you're around the league at the way teams are constructed, every team needs their drivers and the best players to lead the team. Going through what we went through last year, I think it's a lot of guys learned from the adversity. Now we know the Canucks had a very down season last year. They missed the playoffs after what looked like a team that could win the West for years to come, moving on from a fan favorite in JT Miller in order to keep Elias Pettersson. And listen, I still do believe that is the right call. Elias Pettersson, a lot younger, and has shown the potential to be a 100-point player. Yes, it hurts, but you still have a constructed roster, a core of a team that can go in, but it all hinges on the back of Pettersson bouncing back and Thatcher Demko having a healthy season after how good we know he can be. Looking at last year, only playing 23 games, this was a very big down year for Thatcher. Going into the year previous, a .918 save percentage, 35-14-2 record. Demko is a player that can not only will you into the playoffs, but also win you playoff series. We know he was a Vezina runner-up just 2 years ago, so a healthy season with Demko between the pipes and getting some of the workload taken off by Kevin Lankin, and after both getting extensions, this team in between the pipes is very well built out, probably one of the best tandems in the NHL, backstopped by one of the best defensive cores in the NHL. Yes, some of them are a little old, and some of them are coming in as rookies with Tom Willander and even Victor Mancini waiting in the wings. This Canucks team on the back end, no one is worried about. We know Thatcher Demko can be a Vezina Canada goalie, a goalie to win you 35, 40, or 50 games. But the big thing is health and consistency out of this team, and it seems like the biggest story going into next year is just staying healthy on the ice. Now, Patrik Allvin, once it goes in, speaks on Petey. He was very much turning the page and moving forward. You want to find ways to get better, and I think that's the same thing with Elias too. I think he has matured. I think he has taken ownership for his play, and he's very excited to come back and compete with the guys. Now with Pettersson, this is a big part of the year. I know a lot of people are haters of Pettersson. I'm a big truther on him. I do believe this player that we have seen in the past put up 100-point seasons, Selke seasons, anything in between, and he never won the Selke, but being runners-up in some voting, Pettersson can be the game changer, and he's going to need to be it. 26 years old, set to turn 27. Pettersson needs to step up as the franchise player. We've seen him score 30 goals. We've seen him hit over 80 points, 100 points, 66 points in back-to-back years, getting Petey back into form, which everyone seems to think on this team. We've seen Quinn Hughes, we've seen Pettersson, we've seen Patrik Allvin. Everyone has spoke on Pettersson and his bounce back. It's just a matter of time when he gets back into this and the Canucks finally start rolling and fans are going to be like, hey, we're glad we didn't move this guy. We know what we have out of him. But I mean, Canucks fans, there's so much to take in. This whole interview will be linked down below as well. Go read through it. But what is your thoughts on Allvin saying there is pressure? There's pressure for building a team around these core players. What is your thoughts on him speaking on trades, saying how they have looked, they're looking at the cost, they want someone that fits, going all the way to say guys at the center position is what they want to fill up, but they're going to continue working with what they got with Abbotsford players, with current players. What is your thoughts on all of this? Leave a comment down below. And speaking of comments, we'll get into comments of the day where we do get it from Trevor. Probably not the best idea of most likely things for Coots to make the lineup. A year in the WHL, another in the AHL will do him. He needs to be a first line role to develop properly into a second line caliber. We want to turn him into a fourth liner. So the big thing is, yes, I do agree with this. Getting Coots in for 7, 8, 9 games would be awesome. But if he's going to be on this Canucks team in a bottom 6 role, you would rather see him dominate in the WHL, working his way into the AHL next season. But getting Coots in, getting him a taste of NHL action can make a kid hungry for cracking into the lineup. So I would not be shocked if he doesn't get sent down right after training camp, right after the preseason. Maybe he gets into a game, maybe he watches a couple from the press box. It's going to get interesting, but what's your guys' thoughts on all this? Leave a comment down below and you could be featured on Comments a Day. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I'm your host, Mark. Bye, and take care.